We have 2 minutes before we start. If you would like to type in the chat box where you are located, it would be very helpful. We always get people from a wide amount of areas. So I see we have Argentina, wow, Iliananda, Finland, South Carolina, Washington State. Hey, Pam, nice to see you again. South Carolina. So quite a few. Virginia, South Africa. Going to be in Zimbabwe, going via South Africa in September. Anybody else? We have 1 more minute to go. If you'd like to let me know where you're located. Oh, I have 3 o'clock. So time to start. So my name's Dr. Jacquie Jacob, and I am a poultry extension specialist here at the University of Kentucky. As part of my job, I coordinate the monthly webinars for e-extension, which is the electronic version of the cooperative extension service here in the United States. So most of this is, focusing on the U.S., but it is applicable to many places in the world. So we have somebody from Winnipeg, Canada, from Burkina Faso, Ireland, South Africa, Virginia, South Carolina, Washington State. So we have a wide diversity of people, and I will try to address some of the things that might be happening. This is being recorded, and the recording will be available either later tonight or tomorrow morning. All of our webinars are recorded and are posted on our website and shared on our Facebook page. I'll add those at the end if I could remember. So today's talk, if I can get my screen shared. Where are you? There it is. Deals with alternative health practices, herbs, essential oils, and I'll cover some home remedies, but since essential oils are many of those home remedies, I won't go into it in a great deal of information. Get things set here. So if you have a question, please type it in the chat box or in the Q&A. I can see when things are entered, but if the question is not related to what I'm talking about at that moment, that is, if it's not a clarification of something I just said, then it will wait till the end, and we'll do a Q&A section after that. Everybody can see my presentation, I hope. If you cannot, please let me know. So the first thing is, why? Why would you want to use alternative to antibiotics, since there's this great medicine that was, revolutionized health, human health especially, but animal health as well. Typically, when antibiotics are not available, because of the overuse of antibiotics and in animal agriculture and the fear that antibiotic resistance may develop, then the laws changed on how you can buy antibiotics for animals, and you need a prescription from a veterinarian that you have a relationship with and that knows your animals. So For most poultry, that is like next to impossible, depending on where you're located. There are a few, but not very many that are willing to write prescriptions, especially for food animals. So if it's just a pet, it's one thing, but if you're eating the eggs or the meat from it, then that's another thing because of residues that could occur in the products themselves. The other reason is to take advantage of some of the other benefits of alternatives. So there are many plant-derived products that are considered more natural, less toxic than antibiotics, and are typically residue-free. But that's just an overarching thing. It's not necessarily for everyone. So you have to be careful about what plant-derived products you are considering using. So if you're replacing antibiotics, it's important to know how does antibiotic growth promoters actually work. So if you're trying to replace something that's working, how does it actually work? And most of the benefits from low-level antibiotics that we used for generations is related to reduced incidence of subclinical infection. So necrotic enteritis, which is common in a lot of commercial poultry operations, chickens and turkeys in particular, intensive production, is caused by Clostridium perfringens, and so giving antibiotics keeps those pathogens suppressed so that they maintain good gut health, and then production and performance is involved. But it is important to remember that antibiotics or their replacements are not a replacement for good management. I mean, if you have a dirty farm that has a lot of bacteria, in the shavings and whatnot, you can't battle that by trying to add an antibiotic or an antibiotic substitute. So having good feed, having good litter management, good nutrition, maybe vaccinating if you need to, watching the photo period, the temperature, the ventilation, outside excess, all that. All of those relate to productive performance in terms of energy balance, feed efficiency, and growth rate, and of course egg production if it is for that. So the microbiota, which is all those bugs that are living in your gut, are very important. When we didn't have artificial incubation, the chicks obtained they're hatched with a basically sterile gut, and then they obtain the natural bacteria in the gut by interacting with the fecal material of their mother. And so they call it maternal transfer. As we start buying just chicks from hatcheries that have no contact with the mother, then you start getting environmental transfer. So they pick it up from whatever is in their environment, and you want a very complex and diverse group of good bacteria that keep the pathogens away. So the gut mucosal barrier, so you have the lining of the gut and has all these different cells in it, and it's covered in a mucus layer, and the good stuff lives in there and tries to keep out the bad stuff. So that's the whole idea of alternatives to antibiotics, is keeping out the bad stuff. So if you can see here, different parts of the intestines have different types of bacteria that typically is found in that section of the digestive tract, and it gets more diverse as you get farther down. So there's a whole slew of things that can be happening in the different parts of the digestive tract. So when we look at some of the alternatives, there are some we're not going to discuss today because they're out of the purview of the talk. But the first one is the probiotics. So probiotics are basically just good bacteria. So as I said, the hen would normally interact with the chick. The chick would peck at her poop, and the chick would get that good bacteria to colonize in the digestive tract. With the raising without the mother, they're not getting that. So they created products that have that good bacteria in them so that you can feed them the good bacteria when they first hatch, and then it will give that good gut health by prohibiting the pathogens from attaching and competing with nutrients and causing diseases. The majority of the immune system of poultry is in the intestines. So it has, that you have to keep a healthy intestinal tract in order to have good health of your flock. So, this is just an example of a commercial poultry probiotic. I am not endorsing this product. It's just one that I happened to find online. So it's as an example only. As I said, no promotion is involved. So you can see that this chicken aid for all ages and species, so not just chickens, ducks, turkeys, whatever. And it has lactic acid producing bacteria and, some extra vitamins and whatnot in there. You could add it to the drinking water to provide that good bacteria for the chicks. If the chicken has a stress, or if it is given an antibiotic to treat a disease, the antibiotics will disrupt all the bacteria in the digestive tract, not just the pathogens. And so you need to reestablish that good health. So you need to So you need to provide a probiotic again after that stress to get the microbiota reestablished. You don't really need to be feeding the bacteria on, constantly, because once it's there, if you have a good management and health program, then that bacteria, the good bacteria, should get established and continue to live there. There are some other ones, as I said, not trying to promote one over another. These are some of the ones that I found online. You have to be very careful because some of the products that I'm going to talk about are not for sale in the US. India has quite a number of products that they put out in some of the other categories. But probiotics, you can typically find a poultry one that is sold in the United States. There's some more for chicks and for hens, for them to, again, they're just adding something to it, digestive enzymes or electrolytes, something to, help improve, give a boost to the birds. So that's probiotics. The next category is prebiotics, and prebiotics are simply food category, really, that helps to feed the probiotics. So you have these bacteria that you are adding to the gut of the birds, and the prebiotics are the feed that the probiotics need. So the prebiotics help to feed that nice balance of the bacteria, to keep out the pathogens, to affect the immune system and everything related to it. And so probiotics and prebiotics often go together because they interact. So you don't necessarily need a probiotic when you feed a prebiotic, but prebiotics, they do maintain if you have a nice, healthy digestive tract. The only one I could get a picture of is Biomoss, which is an Alltech product out of Kentucky. And basically, it's a yeast product that from the yeast cell walls. You can feed it to any animals, pets as well. And it works with the bacteria that are there to protect the gut microflora. So this is a moss. It basically affects genes in there. It changes how much mucus you have. It has a whole effect on the immune system. There are other kinds, but I couldn't find a picture of the product with them. But fructans, they call it FOSS, is another product. It's just a different source of the nutrients for the bacteria. And beta glucans, and while we often think of beta glucans as an anti-nutritional factor, if you have too much of it, it will cause problems. For example, if you have a heavy wheat-based diet, you may end up getting pasty butt, because of the effects on the flow of the digesta through the digestive tract. But a little beta glucan does go a long way to help the immune system. And so adding some nutrients, some feedstuffs with a little bit of glucan in can help. Again, I couldn't find a product that specifically had glucans in, but when you're formulating diets, often you look for some to have some glucans. And so you have probiotics and prebiotics, and you have products that have both together, where the probiotic of choice, the prebiotic of choice is specifically for the probiotics that are being fed. So you get a symbiotic relationship. And so those are called symbiotics. So some products that you can see here, again, not trying to promote one over another, just some of the ones I could find images for online. They have probiotics as well as prebiotics. So, different farms have them. This particular one from Purdue, they're providing it when you first get the chick, and then providing it to keep them going afterwards. Then there's a thing called postbiotics. And so basically it's the microorganisms when they die, their components can transfer a health benefit on the host as well. This is a new product that people are starting to research now. I'm on a research grant. We just submitted it, so we don't know if it'll be funded or not, but looking specifically at postbiotics. So you may hear more about that in the future. So the other one that I wanted to focus on the most is the phytogenics. And everybody's heard of essential oils, and that's basically come from plants. So phytobiotics are basically a range of substances that are a biological origin and have some sort of, they come from plants that provide a health benefit to them, animal that's eating them. So it's a wide range of substances in terms of formulation, chemical description, and purity. So The table that you see here is just some examples. Let me move this out of my way so I can read it. And so you can see the flavonoids, the phenolic compounds, having the antioxidant activity, the lipid lowering. So, you know, cinnamon, nutmeg, candle nuts, celery, lemongrass. I'm not really sure what Yedai leaves are, but lemon basil. Not familiar with the other one, bitter leaves. So there are a variety of them. And so, as I said, they are derived from plants and they're classified into 4 main groups, the phytobiotics. So the first one are herbs. So they're the leafy green or flowering parts of a non-woody, non-persistent plant, and they can be given either fresh or dried, although when fresh, we usually call them herbs. When they're dried, they call them spices. And they can have savory or aromatic properties. So herbs can be medicinal, but they can also be adding flavor to food products. And as I said, when they're dried, they're usually considered spices, and they don't just come from the leafy green or flowering part. Spices can also come from seeds, bark, roots, and fruit. So there's a variety of things that can be spices. So not all spices are herbs, but not all herbs are spices. Well, all herbs can be spices, whatever. Botanicals is just a general term for a substance obtained from a plant. So they can be roots, leaves, and or even the bark, and used as an additive, either for humans or for animals. Essential oils, which is what I refer to, is the natural oil typically obtained by hydrodistillation. That means with water, and having the characteristic fragrance of the plant and other source from which it is extracted. So they're very volatile compounds, and that's why you can smell them. Volatile just means that they're released into the air easily. The other one is the oleoresins, which are very similar to the essential oils, but they're extracted by non-aqueous solvents like hexane and different things like that. Most people who are trying to find alternatives to antibiotics aren't interested in that because you're adding a chemical to it. And so looking at some of the commercial herbs that are specific for poultry, and again, I am not trying to promote one over another, but these were the ones that I found online as products that you can buy here in the US. And there's 2 ways that you can use this. You can put it in the coop bedding or in the nest boxes to improve the aroma, but then their advertisement shows the chickens eating it. So either way, you can do that, and each one of the different products gives a different attribute to the material that is being sold. And you can see this is an American one from Missouri. This is another one, Pests Be Gone, and it's mostly for putting in the nest boxes. It is supposed to keep out pests, that's the name, mostly spearmint, lemongrass, and cinnamon. It also has basil, rosemary, and wormwood in it. It's supposed to help with the smell and things like that, as well as keeping pests out of the nest box and bedding if you put it in there. Not so much for the eating of it like the previous one. So I'd say there are many, many, many different plants that are used for the creation of essential oils, and it's impossible to go through them all in depth. I mean, there's like 3,000 different compounds that can be used in essential oils. And so there's no way that we can cover all of that today, but just to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do and some of the products that are available for poultry, though you can use things from um, human side for it as well, although I would imagine they're probably more expensive. So essential oils are the natural oil, as I said, obtained by hydrodistillation with water and having the characteristic fragrance of the plant that or other thing that it came from. So for example, this one here, you boil the water to create the steam. The steam comes up into where you have the plant material. It raises and picks up the essential oils, and then it gets cooled off, and the essential oils get down into the other container. So um, they have all sorts of fancy equipment they use for it now. Some people like to do it at home, but to me, if you can buy it, it's much easier. So, as I said, that many different compounds, the hydrocarbons, coming from all those different examples that they show there, often from citrus fruit peels. So, it's another thing where you're using not the fruit, but the peel of it. So, it's something that you can make use of waste products. Phenols, again, different types of products from thyme and different plants similar to that. Esters provide a nice smell, so from cloves. Um, then you get alcohols that you get from lavender, bay laurel, mint, sweet basil, and others. And then some aromatic compounds from cumin, thyme, and others. Um, Citronella is a plant that can provide things as well. The where am I? The one from cumin and thyme can also be synthesized by from petrochemicals. So if you're trying to be organic, make sure that you read how it was produced, whether it was from natural sources or was synthesized from petrochemicals. So some of the actions of the essential oils, these are the 6 main ones. So if we start with the antioxidant activity, antioxidant means it prevents it from going rancid. So it can increase meat quality because it's not going to go bad as fast. You get longer shelf life. It improves basically the electron balances in the blood, muscle, and tissues. It sets off the antioxidant defense systems. It has the phenolics that I mentioned earlier, and their antioxidant activity is even more than vitamins E, C. I can't remember what that one was that I put there E twice, but and thymol, carvacrol, and other essential oils can act as antioxidants in both meat and eggs, increasing the productive shelf life. So if you feed it to the chickens, they'll put it in the eggs or the meat, increasing the shelf life of the products produced. The next one is, where are you? There we are. Antimicrobial activities. So if you're looking for something to replace an antibiotic specifically, so either as a preventative or a treatment, then some essential oils do have antimicrobial activity. Depending on the type of oil, it can be slightly different. The method or action that it uses to create that. So some of the essential oils having antibacterial effect, they can be specific for different bacteria. So thyme oil, Clostridium perfringens, which I said causes necrotic enteritis. You get a lot of other pathogens in there, E. coli, salmonella, the cinnamon oil, staphylococcus, enterococcus, all of those salmonella, E. coli, all the different ones you don't want there. It also has antifungal properties as well. Oregano oil, which seems to be the one that most poultry producers are using these days, controls E. coli, salmonella, staphylococcus. Peppermint oil can also control E. coli, listeria, salmonella, staphylococcus aureus specifically, all of which can be food-borne pathogens. Phytochemicals from multiple plants like cloves, guava, and eucalyptus, plus cinnamon oil together reduce the likelihood of biofilm formation on surfaces. Biofilm is sort of like mucousy stuff on the surface of things. It's mostly a problem in pipes. It tends to clog your pipes up, but it makes it very hard for you to remove bacteria from the surfaces of things because they cling to the surface with biofilm. Again, this one looks at the different types of essential oils. CJ is the Campylobacter jejuni, which is a foodborne pathogen that can make people sick. Escherichia E. coli, as we just call it, is not typically a risk from chickens. It's more from beef, but there are some strains of E. coli with poultry that can make you very sick. The Listeria monocytogenes, the LM, again, another foodborne pathogen. Salmonella enterica is also a foodborne, as is Staphylococcus aureus. So P means it's positive for it. So for these different types of species, and these are all the different essential oils. And some of the compounds are found in more than one essential oil. So you can see there's a whole line of them there. The compound that's providing the protection comes from many different sources. So again, when you're talking antimicrobial, antiparasitic is also important because it is a protozoan sometimes, but the coccidiosis that it's talking about here is a protozoan, not a bacteria. And so it tries to prevent coccidiosis problems, reduces the intestinal lesions if you get coccidiosis, and it also reduces the shedding of the oocysts into the litter. So with coccidiosis, you get infected, it matures, and then it releases eggs, which are the oocysts, which get into the litter, which have to sporulate and be eaten again to reinfect the bird. So carvacrol and thymol have been used as an anti-coccidia. They're specific. The different species of coccidia affect different parts of the intestine, and so typically when you have coccidiosis, you need to know what kind you have. Tenella is the most common, but they have been shown to be functional in mixed species type of infection. So you also have to be careful, in how you use it and when you use it, because baby chicks need to be infected to develop their own immunity to the oocysts, the protozoa in their gut. And so if you're treating it with essential oils while it's trying to develop that immune system, it may not maximize the potential. So if you're using a coccidia vaccine, for example, you have to be careful what essential oils you are using with the baby chicks. They are also anti-inflammatory. So the different terpenoids and flavonoids, they suppress the metabolism of the prostaglandins, which are important in inflammation. And so there's a variety of different plants that for which the essential oils are effective as an anti-inflammatory agent. They're also modifying the immune system. They call that immunomodulatory. It's all sorts of things going on there that are basically affecting the immune system. And so the essential oils are important for that. Hypolipidemic, that means lowering the cholesterol. So some essential oils inhibit the regulatory enzyme for cholesterol synthesis, thereby lowering the cholesterol content, and significant reductions in serum cholesterols of broilers fed cinnamon powder have been reported. So I'm trying to emphasize the things that have been researched. I'm sure there are a lot of things that are anecdotal, but I went through a lot of the different papers on how they been researched, especially with regards to the actions that they use. Essential oils have also been found to stimulate digestion by increasing the villi and microvilli, which your gut lining is not flat. It has these little villi that sort of project from it to increase the surface area, and each cell inside that villi has its own microvilli. And so by maximizing the growth of those portions of the digestive tract, you can maximize digestion. So some of the benefits of essential oil, as I said, the positive effect on the gut microbiota. So stimulate the growth of the beneficial microbes and reduce the number of pathogenic bacteria in the gut. Some of the ones are listed there and mentioned earlier. Essential oils also increase the proportion of short-chain fatty acids and butyrate, which are produced in the cecum from the indigestible fiber by the microorganisms there. And those short-chain fatty acids do provide additional energy for the bird that is consuming the essential oils. On growth promotion, again, some of them act on nutrient utilization, which I talked about, they also stimulate the secretion of digestive enzymes, leading to improved nutrient digestion, rate of gut passage, and feed intake, so you get better feed conversion. You need less feed for the amount of product that you are producing. Helps with the bottom line for dollars. But you must use essential oils with care. Essential oils are extracted from a plant and they're very concentrated. And so a little goes a long way. You don't need a lot. We're talking drops here. Always dilute the essential oils before using them. Often you use, if it's a topical application, you use a carrier oil. That can be coconut oil, something like that, that you put your essential oils in and then apply to a wound or whatever it is that you are treating. If you are using it as a spray, for example, some of the essential oils are good for cleaning coops. And so if you're using a spray, it's usually got water in it with the essential oils. Always wear gloves when handling essential oils because they can irritate your skin. And do not dilute the oils in the coop. Use a well-ventilated area to mix them first. Keep the essential oils away from the head of the poultry. So if you're spraying with essential oils, do not spray the head of the birds. Some essential oils, for example, are good for controlling external parasites. And so if you're doing that, make sure you don't make contact with the head, especially the eyes and whatnot. When spraying poultry coops for disinfectant or whatever, you need to have cleaned it out before you use it. You can't disinfect dirt, really. Make sure there are no birds present when you're spraying, and allow the coop to air out before letting the birds back in. So if you decide to use essential oils, it's important to handle them with care. So I went through some of the anecdotal things. There is some research to back up some of the claims made by people who are reporting on how they use essential oils to take care of their backyard flocks. So oregano, as I said, which is the most commonly used one, has been shown to strengthen the immune system. And as I said, the majority of the immune system of poultry is in the gut. So they recommend 1 drop of oregano to 2 gallons of water each time you refill your water supply, which should be daily, since you're supposed to clean and refresh your water on a daily basis. Sometimes if you, depending on how much water space, you might have to do it twice. Lavender, the melaleuca, and frankincense. You know, I always thought of frankincense as the stuff that was given to Jesus, but if you get the essential oil from it, you can combine the 3 essential oils that are said to be good for all kinds of skin irritation. So here's a case where you are using it as a topical application. So after a chicken has suffered an injury, has a wound, or lost feathers from an attack, you can add 1 drop of each oil to 15 drops of carrier oil, which, as I said, was the coconut oil, and apply it twice a day to the wounded area. Oh, I gotta see if I got some questions here. Okay, I have to get back to that. Okay, so peppermint said to help repel flies. They put 30 to 40 drops of peppermint oil into 2.5 gallons of water and spray around the coop. Again, don't do it when the chickens are there. You may have to reapply after every rain or heavy dew because to wash it away. So if you want to keep out the flies, peppermint essential oil is said to be good for that. Tea tree, which is another name for the product there, is supposed to repel mites. So you mix it with the peppermint oil, so 20 drops of peppermint oil and 10 drops of the tea tree oil per 1 gallon of water, and spray heavily around the coop, which with the chickens not there, so they're turned out in the run. Allow the coop to air out before letting the chickens back in, as I previously said. And if you have to treat the birds because you have seen the mites, you can spray the birds, but avoid the heads, like I said, and you don't need as much. I said heavily do the coop, but only lightly do the birds. The lemon oil is supposed to be for cleaning and disinfecting the chicken coop, and that's why a lot of disinfectants have the lemon oil in it, smell very lemony. So again, you have to clean it first. You can't disinfect dirt. So clean all the adhered material first, and then mix 30 drops of lemon oil with 8 ounces of vinegar and 8 ounces of water in a spray bottle. So after you've cleaned out the coop and the chickens are outside, you can spray liberally with the lemon spray and allow the coop to air out before the chickens are returned. Citrus oils are said to have good anti-pecking capabilities, mainly because the chickens don't like citrus flavors. I don't know about that because I have seen them eat citrus, but a few drops of citrus oil in a spray bottle of water, and then spray it, lightly on the chickens, avoiding their heads. Especially peck on the ones that, especially spray on the ones that are obviously being pecked. But as I said, it's not a replacement for good management. So if you're having a pecking problem, try and figure out what's causing the pecking problem and fix that rather than depend on the citrus oils to try and reduce it. So are they overcrowded? Is there a feed problem? Look at all the other things that you can do before you start looking at just trying to spray them to treat the symptoms instead of the cause. So again, some of the ones, oregano, as I said, it's got all these things. These are the references that people have researched this. So it's not just somebody saying, I did this in my backyard and it worked. Research has shown that oregano oil has antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, immunostimulant, hepatoprotectant, which is the blood and the liver, and antioxidant activity. The cinnamon has all those properties there, including anti-tumor. I don't know, I haven't seen any work on treating Marek's or lymphoducosis, but that might be something worth looking at. Cloves, again, have antimicrobial, antifungal, again, anti-carcinogenic. So again, it would be interesting to see on those two that are definitely tumor related ones. And the eucalyptus is also supposed to help against heat stress. Some more research looking at the capsicum, the ginger, for trying to help with digestion and immune stimulation. Pepper, again, has all those things you can read there. The garlic, turmeric, cumin. So you can see they have a lot of different things depending on the product itself. And as I said, with the peppermint being an insect repellent and analgesic for the pain. So there's all sorts of things that you can use them for. And so if you want to use one, I would research it first, find out what product is available and what it can be combined with to deal with whatever issue you have. One of the things that is being researched now is how you package the essential oils. Often they're just free essential oils, putting drops into water or whatever. But now they are looking at encapsulating. So basically surrounding the essential oils so that it bypasses the stomach. It doesn't get broken down till much later. So, it's supposed to increase the effectiveness depending on what part of the digestive tract it is released in. So this particular product, and again, I am not promoting one product over another. This is just some research that was online. So in the stomach, you can see the amount of the oil that is there, whether it's protected or not protected. And so this particular product of the Carvacol, you want to get it into the small intestines and it's staying there undigested or unreleased until it gets into the small intestine. So whether that pays off in the long run, research will tell. Some commercial products that I found that are sold in the United States, as I said, there are a lot of different products online from India, um, Syria, all sorts of different areas that are not sold here. So no use researching those if you can't use it. And so the Durastat is basically oregano oil, but it also has cinnamon and other essential oils. The Agua Excel, both of those products are specific for poultry rather than going to a health food store and buying a human essential oil product. I don't, booster berries, I don't know where they came up with that name, but it does have some essential oils in it. It also has some other things that are, I don't know if you call them spices or herbs or whatever, but and they're supposed to encourage healthy foraging. They have a round shape. I guess that's where the berries come from. And you can set them on the ground or hand feed them, and the chickens like to eat them. So that's one possibility if you want to get a few essential oils in it, along with some other things like black soldier fly larvae and that sort of thing. Algae oil is supposed to help with omega-3s in the for the chickens, which would increase your omega-3s to some degree in your eggs. And just to show how essential oils are taking off, Cargill announced that they are producing a whole poultry feed collection that incorporate essential oils. The main ones they're looking at are thyme, cinnamon, and oregano. So essential oils have gone from, that foo-foo stuff that, people start promoting when there's not a lot of research for it, but the research is backing it up, and it is starting to be commercialized now. Again, I'm not promoting Cargill. I'm just saying that a major company is starting to include it in their poultry feeds. Whether others will do it, I'm not sure, but Cargill made this big announcement about it. You can either, buy pure ones for the individual ones at any health food store and try and do what you want with them. You can also give your chickens aromatherapy. I mean, you can have it in the runs to try and de-stress them if you want. I've seen them plant, poultry producers plant different crops to try and reduce the fear load, the stress load in the birds. I did find that a company that has produced a new line of essential oil products that are specifically for backyard chickens. Again, not promoting them, just saying that they are starting to add essential oils so you don't have to buy the oils and try and mix them yourself. The one on the left, the Recuperate, is to help with the bedding material, lengthens the life of the bedding material. So some of these other ones with fancy names support digestion with the essential oils. They also increase some omega-3s and different things, different products. So again, there are commercial companies who are trying to capitalize on the essential oils. So in terms of the home remedies, some of them are that I'm seeing online are essential oils themselves. So I don't, I wouldn't be going all over it, but there is some anecdotal information online. I saw some people who use liquid iodine or venericine, which is a non-antibiotic poultry care, that you can apply to the wounds of the comb of a chicken that has fowl pox. If you have an outbreak of fowl pox in your flock, you can vaccinate to try and control it. It is slow moving. It's carried by mosquitoes. It usually passes without too much mortality, but if you're getting a lot of wounds on your birds, which are attracting pecking, then some of those might help. Some of the essential oils might help. Apple cider vinegar is often seen as, the way to fix everything. I think that's where we're in the foo-foo area right now. But it changes the pH. So depends on what the pH is before. So, you don't want to, if it's already acidic, you don't want to make it more acidic. Wood ashes are starting to be researched now. I've seen them being used in feed to provide minerals, but you can also put them in, what do you call it? My mind went blank. The dust bathing to help with that. Some people are feeding dandelion leaves, garlics, and onions. And again, that's taking advantage of the oils that are in them without extracting them first. Pumpkin seeds are being, highlighted as a dewormer, but the only product I found that does deworming with pumpkin seeds, it was actually the diatomaceous earth that was the majority of the product. There is some research coming out in the 2020s looking at pumpkin seeds and poultry, but they're basically extracting the oil rather than just feeding the seeds, but you might get some benefit and some from just letting them, have pumpkins. Diatomaceous earth is often used. I think it's a health risk. If you inhale it, you will damage your lungs. That goes the same for the chickens. It's very much an irritant. So if you're feeding it to them, you could be damaging the intestinal lining. So I personally do not recommend diatomaceous earth. And as I said, most people cannot find a vet. And so there is a system I found online when I was looking for images. You can ask a chicken vet questions and get an answer. They're right there when you chit chat. It's justanswer.com. It is a subscription, so you are paying for it. But if you can't get any help from a vet, it might be a way to go. Again, I'm not promoting it. I just happened to see it when I was searching for research-based information on the use of essential oils. So that's what I had. Let me see what we got here. How does the dose thymol against coccidia and oregano against respiratory disease? How to dose? Okay, it depends. If it's just drops, depending on how you're doing it. If you're giving it in water and what the product is and what the concentration is, you'd have to read the label. I would think that you wouldn't need more than a drop or two. If it doesn't work, you can increase it. So you start low and then increase the dosage. Usually, if you're having a coccidia problem or respiratory disease, you would have to add it every day for like 7 to 10 days. Again, if it's not showing progress, you can increase it. And then if it doesn't work, try something else. Would you have links or a reading list to read studies? I don't currently have one, but my research has encouraged me to start working on a fact sheet on it. So we'll see what I come up with. It looks like some of the products are not oils, but are dried like spices. Are they for adding to feed or water? The two that were dried like spices, one was for the bedding material and one was for eating. although you can put it in the bedding material as well. The only ones that I've seen in the water or feed are the essential oils, not the dried spices. Dried spices I've seen more for bedding material. How to dose cedar vinegar in water. Again, it depends on what the pH of your water is to know how much you need to add. So it basically makes it more acidic. And so if you have very acidic water, you don't need so much. If it, you know, so it's hard to say without knowing what the current pH is of the water. What is the sense of offering charcoal? It's not charcoal, it's wood ash. So you, after you've burnt wood, you have a lot of ash that's left over. Ash is minerals. And so feeding minerals to the chickens to eat is one way of providing natural minerals rather than purchasing, you know, the zinc and the magnesium and the copper and the whatever. A lot of it depends on what species of wood you burnt, but it's not charcoal. And then adding it as a part of your dust bath helps with the pest control, you know, the external parasites. So it's 4 o'clock. Are there any more questions? Said it was too many essential oils to go into, but it did spur my interest in it. And so I'm going to work on a fact sheet, if not a research publication on the topics. But I am booked up for a couple more months, so don't know, maybe it'll be my Christmas activity for something to do. So any other questions? While you're thinking about it, next month's topic is on molting backyard flocks. So you molt chickens, which means, you know, you change their diet so they start to lose feathers, they stop laying eggs, they go back to a pullet state, and you let them recover, rest, and then you start them producing again. So if you're having shell problems, you might need to put them out of production to rest so that the calcium absorption of the intestines changes, so that the shell gland can put down better shell with the right calcium phosphorus mixes. All of that is redone. If you're starting to get lots of watery eggs or things like that, you basically reboot the chicken to lay eggs again. You know, basically turn her off so she's not laying. It's not as easy as it sounds, but Claudia Dunkling from Georgia will be talking about that next month. So, okay, any other questions? Okay, I will thank everyone for coming. Hope to see you next month, right before I go to Zimbabwe. So everybody have a good day, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.